You ever notice that most conversations involve excessive complaining, incessant complaining, just on and on and on complaining? I would say well over 90% of most conversations revolve around complaining. Now, why is that? I mean, there's six big reasons I can think of. One, it's an exercise in self-indulgence. It makes you feel important because when you're complaining, you're generally complaining to someone in person. Or if you really like to waste time, you're making a complaint on Yelp about some business. And then a bunch of people view it and now you feel important. My opinion matters. I complained, someone listened to it. So it's definitely a move in just boosting your ego more than anything else. It can also be a bonding mechanism, as sad as it is. Now here's a real petty example. So someone gets on the phone two people meet up at the park and one person goes, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I was on the phone with the cable company for an hour today. They kept me waiting for 45 minutes. "Oh, you too? That happened to me last week." And then third person over here hears it. "Oh, I couldn't help but overhear what you two were talking about. I was on the phone with them for 2 hours to no avail." And now it becomes this circle jerk bonding experience of people complaining. And the problem is that this is worthless because nothing useful comes out of this. It's pleasurable. That's reason number 3. I mean, most people don't do things over and over again unless they get some pleasure out of it. So one person starts complaining, that gives the other permission to start complaining. And then sometimes people get together and it's a big crew of complaining. And nothing's more energy draining for someone who actually wants to be proactive than being in that environment. And also it takes the focus off what you should be doing because now you're complaining about something outside of you, whether it's a person or a situation, circumstances. It's a delaying tactic. So as long as you keep complaining, the focus is not on you. And once the complaining is over, what are you left with? You actually have to take some action steps. But if you can prolong the complaining, then you can delay that as much as possible. In my book, I talk about delaying tactics. These are things that people purposely use to avoid taking action, such as I need more research. I need to read one more book on this topic. Then I'll finally get going. And the reason why it's so addictive, again, is it makes you feel like you actually did something productive. So when you complain to others, or again, really wasting your time doing a Yelp review, now you feel like you actually did something productive, when in reality, you didn't do anything useful. In fact, you just wasted a lot of time. Now, complaining is not always worthless, and there are definitely times in life where you should complain. Sometimes you have to complain to stick up for yourself or someone else, or the situation warrants it. But I'm talking about excessive complaining, especially about things that are so trivial, they're not even worthy of a conversation. I'm friends with some people that I actually never call or visit. I guess I'm not a really good friend to those people. But the reason is because for whatever reason, and I don't know if they do this with other people as well, they just complain about every single thing that's going on in their life to me. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because it's a waste of time. I've been stuck in this complaining loop myself. I'm not saying that I'm above any of this. I'm as guilty as anyone else for engaging in excessive complaining. But eventually the complaining has to stop and the action has to take place. And I know people that complain about things 5 years later, they're still complaining about the same things with some additions, of course, because hey, you need variety in life. So you can't just complain about the same things. You got to add a few more things in. Keep it interesting, keep it exciting. Now, examples of where complaining can be useful is, I always talk about Ty Ritter and Melia Kaplan, two of my friends that run some fantastic nonprofits. Ty noticed that there were just kids being kidnapped all over the world and put in human trafficking. And he was tired of all the bureaucracy that was stopping these kids from being rescued. So he wanted to have a more very direct, intense, aggressive form of action where he and a team of former operators actually go into different environments, rescue these kids by any means necessary, and then get them to an orphanage where they can get the rehab and the counseling and the care that they need to try to get over these extremely traumatic experiences. So that again started with complaining. He's complaining about the situation. No one's doing anything about this, but it led to action. He started doing something about it, got other people that wanted to do something about it. Because see, that's the other cool thing about not complaining all the time is that you bring up an issue and you start attracting people that actually want to take action. If you're someone who complains all the time, you're just going to attract other people that like to complain. And now you guys just to get together and you complain. And complaining or even talking excessively is very draining. I have this rule where I don't want to talk to anyone for 2 hours before I work out. because the reason is 90% of the conversations are going to involve people complaining. That's going to be a real energy drain. Now I'm going to have a crappy workout, and now I'm going to complain about having a crappy workout. So that complaining has permeated my life now, where if I can avoid any negative energy dissipation, then I can more stack the deck in my favor of having a really productive workout. So look, it's impossible to go your entire life without complaining. I'm not even saying that, but try this experiment. This is a really interesting experiment. Try going 24 hours without complaining about anything. So you're about to complain about something. If you really want to take it to another level, write down the complaint. Don't verbalize it, but write it down. Okay, I was just about to complain about this traffic situation. I was just about to complain about this person going too slow or this person running a red light. And you write it down. You're going to realize it starts becoming a pretty long list by the end of the day. But you're going to become acutely aware of how much complaining other people do and how draining it is to hear this. Now, 24 hours is a long time. I'm probably asking too much. So how about 5 hours? For the next 5 hours, no complaining whatsoever. And then just pay attention to how much complaining other people do. And you're going to realize that as long as I'm complaining, I can't actually do anything productive about the situation in most cases. So less complaining, more action, if it's something you actually care about. Otherwise, you're just complaining. And when it comes time to do something about the situation, you just want to keep complaining. That means you don't really care about resolving the situation in any meaningful manner. So less complaining, more action.